Hi, welcome to the Live, Love, Lead podcast. I am April Nicole Scipio, and I'm so glad that you decided to listen in today. If this is your very first time listening to an episode, welcome, welcome, welcome. You came to the right spot. If you have been with us for a while, welcome back. I just want to encourage you guys to make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode, and remember to rate and review it. This makes it easier for other people to find it. And they will definitely want to find today's episode because today's episode is all about intentional living. I'm so excited to have a good friend of mine, Valjien, with me here today. I'm April Nicole Scipio, and I'm a girl with a dream, a big dream. A dream to help you live, love, and lead. I am passionate about creating opportunities for you to become a better version of yourself. And I strongly believe that it happens best inside of authentic community. I'm very excited to have created a podcast that inspires you to dream big, challenges you to grow, and gives you tools to blaze the trail God has set before you. So get ready to build community, dig into God's Word, and take practical steps so you can live, love, and lead well. I'm so excited to have a good friend of mine, Valjien, with me here today. And I'm going to let her just introduce herself because she's amazing. So, Megan, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you. My name is Valjien, and I am the owner of Kindness Co. And I have a daughter who's almost 2 and a wonderful husband who helps me run everything that I'm trying to make. I have a vision for making a blog where I share all things ethical and intentional and minimal and all of my many interests. So yeah, I'm just excited to be here.
Awesome. And I have to tell everyone why I'm thrilled that you're here because Megan, you literally changed my life about 2 years ago. I remember we started walking together in the mornings and you would share things with me. And at the time, I felt very overwhelmed with my house. And that bled over into other areas of my life feeling overwhelmed. But you gave me so many good resources and just talked to me about intentional living. And honestly, before then, I hadn't really heard about it. Like I've heard about people how do you say it?
Minimalizing.
Yeah. But it's that concept seemed overwhelming to me. Like I didn't know much about it. Like in my mind, it was like, oh, people that own like 2 things. Mm-hmm. When I'm like, not really sure I can do that. But like the way that you explained it and I saw like how it helped you, it really inspired me. And so because of that, I took 2 months of my life 2 years ago and literally decluttered everything in my house. And that gave me like energy to then put into other things that were also important to me. So I want to say thank you publicly. That I really appreciate that.
Awesome.
That's awesome. But one thing I don't know is how did you get into intentional living?
All right, so I haven't really thought of how to put this all together, so I'm just going to start. We'll start with when I moved out of like my mom's house, and Corey and I were in a place, and I would spend every dollar I made on anything I could get my hands on, like a shirt. If I had $2 in my bank account and a shirt was like $2, I would buy it. And it was just a problem. Like I just had like a consuming problem, and it made me feel good. And I was so busy working and with school, I would just like consume to feel good. Like I would get out of the house and just buy things. And then we went into a smaller apartment and our things just didn't really fit. It wasn't quite big enough for us and we wanted out, and the apartment wasn't really our style of like having close neighbors and stuff. So we bought our first house and it was 2 stories, and boy did it just get filled to the brim in those 2 stories. We had an upstairs that was just like I had an art room and you could barely walk in it. It was just full of things, and my closet was full. We would use like 2 closets, and yeah, it kind of got out of hand. And then we bought a bigger house, at least like almost double the size of that house, and it also got filled with things. So I kept buying and buying and buying, and then realized once I had my daughter that all I was doing was chasing this stuff, and I was cleaning up after ourselves, and laundry was like everyone's laundry. It was just awful. And So we decided to make a change and try to cut out our stuff so that we could focus on what really mattered to us, which was family. So we downsized and have just continued to cut things out of our life to make room for what matters.
Man, that's awesome. So I didn't know that you like to buy things, because I feel like now I feel like it's such like a drastic difference. Like I don't feel like it's a little bit from that. Like that would surprise me, because you're all about, I hear you say this term of like zero waste and making sure that everything that you need matters. And I'm kind of obsessed with your Instagram feed with your closet, because you only have, now you have like a certain number of items that you keep in there.
I don't keep like a set number. Some people will pick a number. We do have only so many hangers, so we definitely don't go over the hangers. We probably have maybe 20 hangers each, 25, something like that. And we have seasonal capsule wardrobes, so I don't only own 20 things. It's more like 80 things or something like that. So, but it does change out seasonally, and we only have so many things to pick from during that season.
That's awesome. Yeah. What was the hardest change, like to make that switch? Because that's huge. And I'm sure I have listeners who maybe are in the boat that you were formerly in, and they're like, oh my goodness, how do I get to that point? Is it more like you had to educate yourself? Was it more, no, this is willpower? What was like the driving force for you to make such a drastic change in your lifestyle?
Yeah. It was quite a bit of willpower. I really value willpower, and I try to put as much as I can into everything. But education was a big part of it. Like you said, it was super overwhelming for me to think of minimalism. I remember we watched the minimalism documentary about a year prior to us kind of going forward with this, and I was like, that's just not for me. I like my things. I love the sentiment behind certain things. You know, I love knowing where I found something or who I found it with, and where something came from, especially like secondhand things. Those do matter to me. But at a certain point, after listening to other people's views on minimalism and intentional living and zero waste and all those things and why they matter to them, I realized that I valued that more than the memory of finding some object with somebody. You know, I valued spending that time with them doing anything. It didn't have to be shopping, you know, like you can create memories without having something to remember it by. So really listening to other people's perspectives on all of it helped me a lot, especially going through the literal purging of all of my things. I would listen to podcasts, so they were like cheering me on and encouraging me, and you know, because it is hard to do it by yourself, especially with this overwhelming idea of two things and white walls.
Yeah, I love that. Now, the reward that you get from that, like I hear you talking about, you value the people and you want to make memories. So it's not that people who do intentional living, it's not so much the number of items you have, but you recognize what you do have matters.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I also just in our friendship have heard you talk about the importance of the people behind the things that you purchase. And you really opened my eyes to that too. So it's not just like it's intentional living, but it's also being intentional about knowing where your things came from. And I think that's cool because it's kind of like honoring the people. How did you kind of start getting into paying more attention to where the things that you bring into your home come from? And kind of talk about, I know you're really passionate about that, kind of share with the listeners so they can kind of get a picture of your heart.
Yeah, so it's kind of like all happened in a tier almost. So, you know, my first tier was kind of recognizing how much I had, and then it was kind of getting rid of some of these things. And through each step, I've learned something more and more and more. So at this point, you know, I've gotten rid of so many things, and I'm starting to bring more things in. And with each thing I bring in, I just pay so much attention to it because I know that it's going to live in my house with me. I'm going to look at it every day. And a lot of people get really excited about certain things that they have, and I want to be excited about everything that I have. And if I can't get excited about it, it needs to be either super functional or just not in my house. So I watched the documentary, like this is how a lot of people approach this. I watched the documentary, oh man, what was it called? The True Cost. Yes, The True Cost on Netflix. I don't even know why I watched it. Just randomly clicked on it and watched it, and it changed my perspective on buying anything. I was kind of exposed to the wages that people are paid and the working conditions that people have to deal with, and I realized how blessed and privileged we are in the States, and I don't want my view of consumerism to be someone else's, like, the life that they have to live struggling just because I want to buy things cheap. I want to have one thing made by someone that was super happy to make it and share it with somebody, instead of 4 things that was cheaply made by someone who's just struggling to make barely a living wage, and just barely a living wage. So as a crafter myself and someone who makes things and sells things, I know how much I put into everything that I make, and I know how super excited I am to share everything. Like, every time someone buys something, I just get so excited. And whenever they wear it, I'm excited. And like, I've seen pictures of people with head wraps on, or headbands or anything, and I've just like teared up thinking, oh my gosh, they love that enough to take a picture in it, and it made them feel good and feel special. And I want everything in my house to be that way, and I want other people to be able to buy that way, so that it can change like crafters' lives and artists' lives and any maker.
That's awesome. Tell everyone kind of stuff that you make. Like, what types of things do you make, and where can they find it?
So I have a website, kindnessco.com, kindness, N-E-S-T, C-O, I just want, I want your wardrobe to be made kindly and make you feel inspired to be kind to others, and buy in a new way, and also kind to your body. It's all made with organic fabric that's been naturally dyed, so it's also kind to the environment. Just kindness all around. That's all I want to spread and radiate is kindness. So yeah, that's what I do.
I love that. And you're about to start a blog. Tell people what they can expect to see, what kinds of things they can expect to see from you.
My tips on minimalism and my approach to it. Like you said, a lot of people get overwhelmed by it, so I want to kind of create a realistic approach that is easier to swallow than the drastic white wall idea. And we really focus on healthy eating and making our bodies feel good, so that we can have the energy to be able to like share love with everyone else. So I'd love to be able to share some of our healthy lifestyle and our recipes and what that looks like for us. As well as just my perspective on like ethical buying and where you can look for that, because no one knows where to start with that. I didn't. I've put so much energy into this, and I love putting my energy into it. I know some people don't have that extra energy, so I want to take that step out so that they can just go to one place and be like, okay, how can I improve this area in my life so that I feel more positive about what I'm doing, what I'm putting out there, and how I am appreciating others.
I love that. Now, if someone's listening and they feel inspired, they're like, oh man, that's awesome. I want to live in a more intentional way, and I want to care about what I purchase. But right now, my house is completely a hot mess, overwhelmed. I work 80 hours a week. I have 3 kids. Like, I can't even think about it right now. What is a good small step someone could take in this direction? Like, even if it's so tiny, like what's like the 1% thing they could do just to at least feel some sense that they're moving toward maybe this goal of intentional living?
Yeah, I think a really good one. Clothes are really overwhelming for everybody, but it can be such an easy one to start with because you wear them every day. It's so impactful to your day, how you feel, how you physically feel, how you mentally feel. It can all be impacted by your clothes. So I'd say if you get up in the morning and you put something on and it doesn't feel good, put it in a get rid of pile. Like, have a trash bag or a box or something. You don't have to go to Goodwill that day or wherever you want to donate it to. Just like if you put those pants on and they're too tight and you're not like 1 week away from fitting into them and you're not actively like losing a pound a week, whatever it is, if those are gold pants but they're pretty far away, just go ahead and get rid of it, because once you lose that weight or whatever, you deserve another pair. So just go ahead and start getting rid of things that don't make you feel good.
I love that. That's awesome. Thanks, Megan. You're so full of wisdom. And I love talking to you because every time I walk away, I feel so inspired. Like, what else can I do to be more intentional with my living? And so I appreciate you sharing with us. I'm excited, and I know my listeners will be excited to get to your blog and read it. And if you're listening, you need to go check out Kind Nest Co. And Christmas is coming up, so I'm sure that you know people that have girls or babies or any kind of female that wears a bow or head wrap or anything that Megan has. I'm sure that you have people in your family that you can buy for. So definitely go check her out. Before we go, Megan, I just want to ask you some random questions because I just want my listeners to get to know you. I'm like, oh, I like this girl. I want to know more about her. So first question, tell me some things that you and your family like to do together.
We like to, we like our morning dance parties in the kitchen. Stevie loves to dance, so every morning we'll turn on music and she'll dance around, and it makes me stop everything I'm thinking about and just enjoy that moment. So it's the little things that I've really started to enjoy with her.
Oh, that's awesome. What about, I know you said you listen to a lot of podcasts. Mm-hmm. Do you have like a favorite or a top 3 or?
Yeah, I have so many that I love, but The Purpose Show was a big one for me. It's still a big one. I still listen to it. It's like kind of minimalism and motherhood, and she's really just really motivational and not so overwhelming with all of that. And I listen to a podcast called Ologies, which is all things random information that I really love. And another great one is the NPR How We Built This? How I Built This?
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one.
I can't remember the exact title, but super good. I always feel so inspired to just go and make a business that just changes everything.
And one last question. Tell us your pet peeve.
I'm going to say probably chewing ice is a huge one for me. I've really come a long way with the sound of eating. Just like in general, the sound of eating can drive me crazy. I've come so far with that. It used to be just a full-on rage if I could hear you eat chips and you're just mouth closed and everything. You're trying, but it would drive me nuts.
I have my daughter, my middle child, is like that. And she'll fuss at people at the table, and I'm just like, their mouth is closed. I'm sorry.
It's hard. I could just hear it. And how can you, especially in classrooms, I would leave the class.
Yeah. So true funny story, I have to say. I was in a meeting one time with a friend of mine, and I'm not going to say her name because I don't want people to know what meeting I was in, but if she listens to this, she's going to know and she's going to crack up laughing. So we were sitting in a meeting together, and another person in the room had a drink and just started chewing on the ice so loud. And like me and her just looked at each other, and it took everything in us to keep it together because the room was so quiet. And like we were trying to pay attention to the speaker, and all we heard was like this loud crunch, crunch, crunch. Like I
don't know how they can hear anything over the sound of it in their mouth. Like how can they hear? I can't hear.
Normally it doesn't bother me, but I think because the room was like silent.
That's what gets me.
Yeah, I had to literally get up and walk out the room, and then I had to like laugh so hard to get it out so I can keep my composure in the meeting. But anyway, I've enjoyed our time together today. I'm going to pray for you before we go.
Okay.
Dear God, thank you so much for Megan and just the gifts and the passions that you put on the inside of her. God, I thank you for just her wisdom and just her ideas that I know are from you to make people aware just how to be more intentional in all aspects of their life, God, with their home and their food and their family time and just all around, God. And I appreciate our friendship, and I thank you for it. I just pray as she writes her blog and as she continues to move forward in business, that you would just bless her beyond measure, God, that you would help her to share her message with so many people, God. And I just know that she's going to make an actual, true difference in the world. And I'm just so excited to cheer her on as she steps in faith in this journey that you put in front of her. Bless her family, bless everything that she does. God, I pray that you multiply her time, God, that you just help her be as productive as possible to get the most amount of things done in the least amount of time so that she can get everything that she needs done while still being present for her family. And I just thank you for her. In Jesus' name. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Shout out to the production team because Teamwork makes the dream work. Now, it would mean so much if you would rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast to make it easier for other people to find. Then head over to the website aprilnicolescipio.com where you can find more resources to help you live, love, and lead well.